Really proud of our road win at Ohio State. Again, I think those things are challenging. I thought Ohio State played really well. I thought they had a different air about them than they had in their previous couple. I thought that we were really effective in transition. I thought we were really solid on Bruce on the defensive side, kind of taking him out of the game. I thought we got them into doing some things that they normally don't want to do. A lot of isolation stuff with Mahaffey and some different things that way, but I thought our focus was really solid. Into the first half was a huge stretch for us. We had a lot of young guys on the floor. It was good to see Amani back out there. I thought that team had a little pop and a little energy, and so all in all, it was a good game and solid. We shot the ball well. Marcus and Terrence were both very, very effective. But get a very good Nebraska team coming in here. They're one of the best teams in our league. A lot of veterans, and then the addition of Rink Mast has helped enhance that team. Obviously, they've beaten Northwestern, they've beaten Wisconsin and Purdue, so that immediately puts you in the upper echelon of this league. And they've done it with very efficient offense. Tamananga, Wilcher's on a burner. Now they've got Gary back. So this is a very, very good basketball team who's playing exceptionally well, and we'll have to have our A game.
Halfway point of the Big Ten season, generally speaking, how do you like where your team's at?
I like it. I like where we're at because we're whole again. We're finally back in a position where we have our roster, and we played most of a lot of this to this point without somebody, whether it was Nico or Amani or TJ's situation, and we had Coleman gone early, and so it's nice to just be able to kind of grow that way. But so I feel solid. It's a great league, and every game's got its own merits and toughness, and you have to be great. I think we're in I'm very comfortable with where we're at.
Nebraska seems like a team that can really, really get it going offensively. What do they do to stress defenses, and what's important against them on that side of the ball tomorrow?
No, they're very good. They've got tremendous perimeter shooting. Wilcher comes off the bench and has 20 the other night and breaks the game open. And the game before, Rank has got 34 and he's a pick and pop 5. He's extremely strong and efficient on the low block, and we all know what Casey Tamananga can do if he gets going. And they offensive rebound well, they pass well. So it's just a very, very talented team on that end, and get great weapons.
Coach, they also turned Wisconsin over quite a bit, especially in the second half. In that game, what's so unique about their defense?
I mean, I thought it's they do what we call a low hold. They're going to come over and try to take away any of your post ups and any of your anything you look at from a post up side of things. But I thought it was very uncharacteristic. I thought some of Wisconsin's turnovers were just simply unforced. But I don't want to discredit Nebraska's defense because they do force some. But I think it was more of kind of a one-off situation for Wisconsin.
I know you mentioned you don't feel very comfortable when Coleman isn't on the floor, but then you have Dane come in and do what he did, which seems like it's a good problem to have that. But how do you find the balance of when to kind of get Dane going, knowing that you have so much trust in Coleman?
Yeah, it's really hard. It's a, you know, it's a coaching decision, to be honest. You know, and it was made easier the other night because, you know, Coleman got in foul trouble, got a technical, and you know, Dane had to play extended minutes. But I thought, you know, Dane gives us something on the offensive glass. He rim runs extremely hard. He's a very, very physical presence. You know, and he's got the ability to score. His effectiveness comes from those things, and I like that. And yet there's you know, there's advantages with Coleman's defensive side of things, his ability to space the floor, his ability to shoot it. He's shooting it at a high clip that also help everybody else on the court as well.
Is being whole again, what does that look like now on maybe just a daily basis? What's different maybe having everyone?
We have them in practice, so our scout team gets bigger, our second team gets bigger and better with, you know, being able to play Amani, being able to play with Dane there. You know, it's more comfort. It's in terms of starting to build some depth and you know, just getting guys in their comfortable positions has really helped us. I mean, we've noticed the biggest difference in practice, maybe more so in games. I think being able to throw Draven out there, I thought his intensity the other night was tremendous. He picked up a foul on a Mahaffey post up, but his intensity and his willingness to not get back down was fabulous, and we see that in practice. And it's not just leaving guys on the scout team and having them run the other team stuff. It's being able to interject them into our stuff as well and find that balance.
Next to the second half, Terrence, for you guys, do you think he's at a point where he's starting to kind of knock that rust off? And if so, what is that kind of giving you guys with him being able to perform?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Ohio State, I think, is 4 in the country in fewest points in transition given up. And Terrence changes that. Terrence is a guy that, with his speed, with his ability to get out, obviously stresses the defense, puts fouls on people. That way, you know, he's an elite guy in terms of fouls drawn. You know, and then, you know, he made some open shots. He had a couple that just went in and out as well. I mean, he was very close to having a 30-point night in a night that we didn't run much to him. So, yeah, it's just comfort. And then I thought the job he started on the other end, started defensively with the job he did on Thornton. Thornton had a little mini run of 5 points there in the second half, but he had 7 for the night, and most of that was TJ Warren over ball screens.
Is the comparison for Nebraska and Northwestern fair because of how they look at home road, how they look?
Maybe from that side of things, stylistically, no.
Right.
But you know, I think there's it's really hard to compare anybody to Northwestern because nobody has Boo, just like nobody has Zach Edey. But maybe from that side of things, you know, they've been great at home, and you know, this is a team that went to Kansas State and won. This is a team that's you know, is you know, played Iowa right down to the wire, and we know how tough a place that is to play. So this is a very, very good basketball team. This is a team that's Fred's done an incredible job. They've made a huge jump, and they're scary every single night.
Coach, a little bit of a rough patch for Quincy Guerrier. What's he got to do to get back to where he was before?
Just playing hard. Just playing hard. Just simply playing hard. And he's one of the premier defenders in college basketball. And when he's locked in defensively and rebounding the basketball, you know, it's we've seen him get double-double after double-double, and that's an effort, that's a focus. You know, I don't have a reason for him not getting double-doubles. You know, you know, I know for us to be our best, he can't get 3 rebounds or 2 rebounds like he did the other night, and we need him bringing that. You know, and I kind of compare him to PJ Tucker in the NBA. You know, that mentality of, you know, just guard anybody on the court, gets every rebound, and makes open shots when called upon, and that's a role that he's great at. And we've got to make sure he's back at that level.
Yeah, follow up on that, is the rebounding your bigger emphasis with him, and I'm assuming the offense would kickstart after getting aggressive like that on the glass.
That's what he does. You know, it's amazing. If you look at offense and you worry about offense, it'll affect your defense. If you worry about defense and guarding and doing the right things on defense, your offense comes easy. And yet, most people look at it the other way. And so, we've had some conversations. I just want him getting back playing hard and chasing balls. And I know for us to be our best, we're not going to get where we want to get without Quincy being a dominant rebounder. And he's proven that he can guard anybody at any time. And he's special at that. And so he'll be fine. We'll get in there, and hopefully we start to see that Quincy Guerrier on Sunday.
You mentioned Nebraska's wins against the top teams in the Big Ten. In the last 2 years, Big Ten's kind of had this everybody beating everybody thing. Nationally, it seems like this year at least there's more of that, maybe more top 10 teams losing home and away. I mean, do you have a feel for why there's maybe, parity's maybe not the greatest word, but just that things seem tighter?
Portal and age. The portal and age. And, you've got teams that whatever level you're at, that if you can stay old, you've got the greatest discrepancy in the history of college sports with age, with the COVID years. You've got, a football player got a ninth year? A ninth year? I mean, he's old as Lauren. I mean, you got a ninth year. So age has a lot to do with it. I think we've spread that out throughout. Last night I watched Dayton and Savon. I mean, Dayton's tremendous. But they're old. It's an old basketball team, and they're good. It doesn't matter what level you're at. Obviously the portal has allowed, people to bounce around. I think you find continuity, and you see why Purdue's probably, in my opinion, one of the best teams in not just our league, but the country, is they do have some continuity, and then they're old. They've gotten older. So, I just think it's a new world. I think we all better get used to that, and we're going to keep seeing, upsets, and that will make for a very exciting March.
After the win the other night, Dane said something interesting about his conditioning, that he still is concerned about it constantly, and just to be able to give you guys the amount of minutes that he's going to have to give you. Are you seeing signs that you have to play him extended minutes, that he's just getting better and not dropping off? Yeah,
and Dane worked. It's always been something that's a concern for us. Dane, even last year, in logging the minutes he was logging last year, was running extra, was doing extra stuff on the Alter G, and now he's in the, he's doing extra stuff with Fletch every single day. That's just, I think it's a normal thing for some of the bigger bodied guys to have to be concerned with, but I loved his effort. I loved his intensity the other night, and whatever those minutes are, I think he's going to be able to keep it, because I know how hard he works.
It seems like, obviously Marcus is doing what he's doing for you, and Riddick Mass is similar, both Valley guys who had stepped up, and there's a couple more sprinkled around the Big Ten. Like Marcus said, they're kind of similar leagues in the way that they play. Like, what's allowed, do you think, those guys to step into the Big Ten and have this kind of impact?
Yeah, I think one of them is they're most of them are older. They've got a lot of experience. They don't fear the program or the environment. They've all seen it. They've all played in those games. I think they've all had really good coaches. I think there's very good coaches in the Valley. And it is a similar league. It's a good old-fashioned Midwestern basketball conference, and it's similar from that standpoint. Their programs draw. They're passionate. They've got passionate fan bases. But I think in this case, these guys are being successful because they're a little older. They've got experience. They've got physicality. I think every one of them's been, stronger. I even go to the what's a kid at Kentucky that was at Illinois State now, was 3 years at Illinois State, and arguably is one of Kentucky's best players, and it just happens with, those guys have done a great job recruiting and developing those guys, and it's your hats off to all those coaches, and they've done a great job, and it's a great league. That's never been a secret.
Especially with the schedule shakes out, 4-day break and then 6 days after that. Did that come at a good time for your team? Does it help you get rejuvenated for the stretch run?
We'll see. I think that we were more mentally tired than anything. I mean, you just get the same kind of mundane routine of game, late night, prep, game, travels in there, and I think we were in that routine for 3 weeks. We'll see. I think that it's always good to kind of refresh and get a kick start and feel refreshed a little bit. But I do know this players like to play, and we're at that point where you have to go out every single night and perform. So whether you're on a 2-day prep or an 8-day prep, it doesn't matter. You got to play.
I guess back to the last question I asked, you got another year of the COVID bonus. After that, if getting old is everyone's desire now, how do you go about doing that?
Transfers, develop them. I think it's obviously a world where it's changed even since the start of this year. It used to be the one-time transfer. We'll see how that works out, whether kids can transfer every year. It'll be about getting, trying to get juniors in school, and I don't think we're going to live and die with that. But I think there's still tremendous value in having freshmen, getting them better, getting your culture set, establishing what you are, because I think in a lot of ways they do have to teach even your newcomers, no matter how old they are, what your culture is and what you stand for. And I think that's happened with us this year. But I think we'll weigh all those options as we get through. We're going to keep recruiting freshmen here, and we've signed 3, and we'll continue to keep working in that area to find we hope what is the right group of guys that want to come in here and stay and work and get better.